Hey strong people, Beck here, and today's question is how to grow the sport of strongman to the general public. I get asked this question because that's kind of been the point of starting Strongman, is to put all that information out there on the sport and make it just easier to access, so everyone can get it, and there's all the news out there and all those things. And I've been doing that for 2 or 3 years now. So what can you do? The main thing you can do is be an ambassador for your sport and not be an asshole. By tearing down when people ask dumb questions or noobs or anything online, they're going to go, fuck, people in Strongman are dicks. I don't want to do that. On the flip side, of course, there has to be some accountability for the person themselves, but just be an ambassador for your sport. Think back when you started, and I'm sure there was one or a few people that helped you get into the sport, and think of how helpful they were and how it felt when you helped them. Try to emulate those people. Now think about the people you go, well, that guy was a fucking dick and he didn't give me the time of day. I can think of a lot of people like that with me. And I try not to be like those people, even if they still kind of are like, whatever. Anyways, besides the point. It's good to put it in perspective, because at one time we were all that noob asking dumb questions on the internet ourselves. I know I was. Please don't look at my YouTube videos from 2006. It's bad. Anyways, that's the first thing you can do. The other thing you can do is you have to share the content going on. If there's local shows in your area, promote it, talk about it, even just sharing when there's a new event on your Facebook. Even if you only have 200 friends, it's going to reach 2 more people. There might be someone interested. Grassroots is how you grow the sport to the general public. You have to do your part. The more you complain and bitch and go, this was like this was like that, doesn't make it seem appealing. And also it's kind of breaking down that Strongman is not just 6'5", 400-pound people doing it really helps. That's the whole, Strongman is for everyone, is the motto of startingstrongman.com. Because a reason, when I say that, what I mean is not that everyone can go and compete at nationals or World's Strongest Man, but everyone can enjoy this style of training to some degree. An empty keg is 35 pounds. Most logs are 80 pounds. These are weights. An empty farmer's walk might be 40 to 60 pounds per implement. These are weights that any physically able person should be able to lift and use to benefit their everyday life. This does not mean that the weights of high-level competitions should be adjusted so that anyone can do them. That is not what I mean when I say Strongman is for everyone. I mean that people can enjoy this type of training to some capacity, and it can help them in their daily lives, or even just having fun other than doing the same things they've been doing. Constantly varied. I wonder where that came from. It seems to have taken off with CrossFit. And that's the other thing that CrossFit has done a great job of. They have the CrossFit Games with all these people doing these insane things that less than 1% of the people that actually do CrossFit can probably do, but they're very big that anyone can do CrossFit and benefit to some degree, and they build up a good sense of community within CrossFit because of that, and all the local gyms and stuff. So that's one place that, where strongman competitors and gyms and everything, and yourself, they can really learn and emulate that aspect of it, something they've done a great job of, and also the media and marketing. The other thing is to actually support companies that support Strongman is the main thing. So when you're buying your lifting belts, there needs to be some sense of industry in something for it to survive and grow. Like there was just for the pro, I feel it's a good thing for that carrot to be dangled at the top where everyone's like, ooh, I could get that, but no one if you're watching this, you probably won't. But it's a good thing if there seems like there's that incentive that makes it all worth it, or someone could achieve, like World's Strongest Man, or there's just the strongest woman in the world, or World's Strongest Woman, or whatever, all of them, all the 3 different pro world's women shows that are going on within 3 months of each other. Anyways, not important. The point is, like there was 4,000 in each division given away at the strongest woman in the world. That's a pretty, that's a good chunk of change. It's definitely, I think the most I ever made at a strongman contest, well, in America, was I won $100 for winning the car deadlift. But it helps for that carrot to be dangled, and sponsors and companies like that are only going to invest in the strongman if they get the return on it. So if companies invest in sponsor shows like that, or they sponsor athletes that actually do strongman, you should support those companies. You build an industry within the sport, not just people that are making money off of the sport. They're giving back into it. It's like when the one protein company was like the first major sponsor for the CrossFit Games, but and then it's like the same exact thing when it was an offshoot, same people from Metrex, I believe, that used to sponsor World's Strongest Man. They're like, oh, well, we're just gonna make our basically same products and stuff again. See, I'm using a fictional company here because I don't want people to, say that what I'm saying is actually true. But let's pretend like it is. And they use this company, and then they're like, oh, well, there's this new thing called CrossFit. We're going to say that we're the best protein for CrossFit. It's fucking protein. It's not the point. But these companies shot up within the industry, and for whatever reason, CrossFitters seem to actually be like, well, I'm going to buy stuff from that company, when all these established, bodybuilding supplement companies or whatever probably make just about the same things and might even be a little cheaper, but they still bought the CrossFit one. There's a weird, you could call it cultish or whatever, but there's benefits to that as well, where they support the companies that are a CrossFit brand, so you should support the companies that are a strongman brand. Like Metrex sponsored Worlds for years, doesn't anymore. I hope that you bought a big Colossus bar at 7-Eleven every now and then. I did, just because I wanted a candy bar. Anyway, but the point is, support the companies that actually support the sport, even if they don't necessarily support you yet. They kind of are, because they are giving incentives for the people at the top, or even just local promoters, or even just give a quick thank you to them. Be like, hey, I just competed in Pennsylvania Strongest Man. Really like this thing that was in my goodie bag, or I got first place and I won this. And I got free egg whites or whatever the hell it is. It goes a long way to send them an email or something saying, I appreciate your support of that, and I'm grateful for the product that I earned. And that's the main thing on how to support strongman, is you have to actually support the companies and products and create an industry within strongman, and don't be a dick. Be helpful to those coming up, just like those before you were helpful to you when you were coming up in the sport and interested in it. If that helps, have a strong week. Hit subscribe. There's a little support button. I think we just talked about that. You can click that too. Go to startingstrongman.com, of course, store.startingstrongman for all those belts, because if you appreciate these videos, because I'm pretty sure I support strongman community. And strongmancoach.com if you are interested in personalized coaching. Later. Okay, right when I hit the little red button on my iPhone to stop recording, I thought of something else which I think is very important on how to grow the sport of strongman. So I'm actually going to have to edit this, so I should probably edit that whole thing, explaining it out and make it seem like I just carried on in the same, train of thought. But you have to make strongman look cool. I mean, look at these big old barrels this guy's putting over his head. That looks cool. Looks a lot cooler in plates. That's one of the things that makes strongman so cool and appeals to the general public. It's a weird thing, because on one hand you want to make it strongman is for everyone, so they think so anyone can do it to some degree, but you also need to make it seem like it's inhuman feats of strength, and how the hell did someone do that? You have to make something look cool. That's the whole reason that World's Strongest Man started in the first place, is they're like, how can we make weights appeal to the general public, and why it's so visually appealing. An event needs to be visually appealing. So if you're promoting a contest and you have a regular bar with steel plates, you're being lazy, because that was never what Strongman was. Have some globes, have some tires, put some effort into making the events look cool. Of course, regular plates, all that's a lot easier, and simple, and a little cheaper probably because you already have them. And it's fine if you do that, but it's just not going to have that impact. Strongman is supposed to be cool stuff. It just needs to appear heavy to anyone walking by if a contest is at an expo, and stand out more so than, if people are just lifting standard plates. It should be a log that looks cool. Like I think the company down in Australia, Standard Submit, they made like this log for the Strongman Australia that looks like it was straight out of Mad Max. That thing was fucking awesome. So think about how to make stuff visually appealing. Is always going to get the reaction with the general public and help it grow. The more Strongman gets standardized and just becomes heavy CrossFit in a way where it's just basically looks like, you just have a little bit more weight on the bar, and you're doing it for a lot more weight on the bar and doing it for a lot less time, 60 seconds versus 7 minutes or whatever. It's just gonna lose that factor of why it was invented in the first place. Real stones, stone series versus stone over bar, stuff like car walks, fridges on the side of yokes. This is the essence of Strongman. I loved when Worlds had themed, like if they're gonna be in some weird place that no one can go to, like Botswana or something anyways, they should have to carry like that Africa stone or something again as an event versus just some standard setup. I think World looked pretty visually cool this year from what I can tell and what I've seen online. But just that's the essence of Strongman. It's not necessarily how heavy or hard the event is, but just like it's just like who even thought of this, and this event looks awesome. I'm a big fan of the Mike Bartos whatever the new dumbbell he came out with, the circus top dumbbell, because it has those globes. It just looks so much cooler than the cylinder style, plate loaded, which I've always said that's like certain things, like making them like that, it's easier to change the weight, so it's great for training, but that's not what should be in a big level contest. But like that, it's big, has those globes, it looks like the old timey circus. We need more stuff like that in Strongman. So this isn't something you can generally do yourself unless you're a promoter or something like that, but just a general thought on how the sport will continue to grow, and you can get more people to see it and know about it. Like when Thor did that Hafthor Bjornsson like 2 years ago in Iceland, carried that giant piece of timber on his back. It was like I'm going to assume that other strongmen could do that as well, because he barely lifted it like this far, but it was this big old piece of timber, and it just looked, and it's snowing, and it looked like something like, how's this even going on? And that video got like tons of shares and views, like hundreds of thousands, so it worked. Or they're doing that same contest in the snow, had these big like wooden beams that they're doing a Hercules hold with. That is the essence of Strongman. It's not heavy CrossFit. So less standardization, more cool shit. That's all I should have said. Instead I kept rambling for 5 minutes.